The following program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
You are moving into a dimension not only of sound and politics, but of absurdity. A journey into a land where facts are fiction and reality is up for debate. Up is down, lies disguised as truth, and logic is a distant memory. You've just crossed over into Opposite World. Fortunately, one voice dares to call it like it is. Welcome to The Nicole Sandler Show, your refuge from the madness, where truth still matters, even in Opposite World.
Well, it's not just one voice. There are quite a few of us out there, and thing is, we need to get louder. Hi, welcome to a Thursday. This has been a long week, hasn't it? But maybe it feels that way because it seems like with each passing day, the world is getting more and more insane. Actually, not the whole world. This country is getting more and more insane. Many other countries have been coming to their senses of late. It's just the United States where things are batshit crazy. It's opposite world. If you turned everything that's happening upside down or, turned it in the mirror, that's what should be happening. Just take anything that the idiot is doing and flip it upside down and, maybe you have some semblance of where we should be. So I've been ranting about this for a long time. I figured, I used to be able to turn to my friend Alex Lawson, executive director of Social Security Works, and he would be able to kind of talk me down. But I think these days, he's more feeling the way I've been feeling. Hey, Alex Lawson, welcome back to the show. Oh, I don't hear you. Oh, there you are. Hi, sorry. That was me.
Well, all I was saying is it's always a joy to join you, so thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. I don't know what the answers are other than enough, it would only take a handful of them, Republicans in Congress, to say the emperor wannabe has no clothes. To just say what they're saying in private and say it publicly. And if they would get together and do it in a small group in the House and a smaller group in the Senate, maybe we need more in the Senate because you have to overcome the filibuster. Do it in two small groups. If they would just come out and say what they honestly believe, then there would be a way out of this.
I also want to pick all the winning horses at all the racetracks in the country, but it ain't gonna happen,
right?
Because politicians are cowards by nature, and Republicans are also chosen cowards. They actually know that their system actually rewards cowardice at a level that is, it's literally how the machine works. If you are, the more you're able to just be able to claim what is clearly false as true, as the more you're able to hurt the poor, the sick, the downtrodden at the behest of the billionaires, and say, oh, it's not the billionaires taking all of our stuff that's the problem. It's these poor folks who don't have enough to eat.
Right.
We should take away what they've got left to give it to the billionaire pedophiles. I mean, that's the cravenness that you're dealing with on the Republican side.
Yes.
But I also, there is an answer, and the answer is the people.
Yeah.
So
always.
After that little bit of, we'll don't hold your breath on them Republicans.
No, I don't.
Let's celebrate the fact, right? Like, no, it's not the world's gone crazy. It's that the billionaires have control in many places, but it seems to be slipping in some. Never was a Prince Andrew was put in handcuffs on his birthday for being a child sex trafficker,
being a pedophile for raping little girls.
Something that we've known for decades, right? For decades. And I actually don't know if it's more than a decade at least. and yet he was seemingly untouchable until, Ro Khanna, and I will say Thomas Massie,
Yes.
but passed this law. And even though Donald Trump, in his billionaire pedophile protection racket that he runs, is doing his best to have nothing come of it, other countries it's different. In the UK, it's going to probably bring down a government. They already had Lord Mandelson.
Yep.
He's probably going to lose his peerage over it. And that's just the start. France is starting to an entire investigatory team to look into this. I can't wait until the Germans get on board. And this network of evil, billionaire pedophiles, literal child rapists, that is not an American issue that Trump can just sort of like make go away. The world is taking notice and is doing something on this. And in America, here, Trump is all about this. It's a billionaire pedophile protection racket. But you're starting to see other people, as you go out, they're like, man, if I stay with this, I'm cooked.
Right.
You're starting to see people who have been lied to for their entire lives and given the sham reality by the billionaire-controlled media. The Epstein Files is this sort of lightning rod or force that I've never seen before. It's cracking through in places that, you and I could never get our voices heard in. And it's beginning to make people question the entire sham reality that they've been sold. And so when we say, Trump lies. He lied about Social Security at the State of the Union for 10 minutes last year. He's going to lie again. It's obvious to us. But there's a lot more new people who it's becoming more and more difficult for them to ignore. And that's where the hope is. Now, it's on us to welcome people with grace. When the scales fall from a person's eyes, we have to not hold it against them that we might have known longer. We have to welcome them with grace. And especially because you and I can't talk to everybody who we need to talk to.
That's right.
To get to where we want to go, but maybe they can. And all of us together definitely can. So how do we get outside of the hurly-burly that we're in, the upside down, the backwards place?
Opposite world, yes.
It's with solidarity. It's with the people. And when we show our bravery by standing together and demanding, you're not going to take my health care to give handouts to billionaire pedophiles. Hell no.
Right.
No.
Right.
When ordinary, everyday people say no, autocracy stops. And we just saw today as well, the wannabe dictator of South Korea sentenced to life in prison. And that man's coup was stopped by the most ordinary people you've ever seen. You should Google it to check my work, and you'll be shocked at how ordinary and everyday the people were who showed extraordinary bravery to stop a wannabe dictator. And so my hope comes always from the people.
Well, in my notes, I have it right here. If South Korea can do this, then why can't we? And the story, a South Korean court sentenced their former president, Yoon Suk Yeol, I don't know how to pronounce it, Yeol, to life imprisonment with hard labor for leading an insurrection after his failed December 2024 martial law declaration, ruling that he attempted to use troops to block parliament and arrest political opponents, marking the first time an elected South Korean leader in their democratic era has received the maximum custodial sentence. It's almost exactly what happened here. The former president led an insurrection after his attempt to steal back the election failed. What more do we need? The people did this in South Korea. We can too, if we all get together.
The people also did it in Brazil, where my family is from. And I always in the dark times and in the good times. I watch Brazilian news as closely as I do American, and so Lula was thrown in prison with basically cooed out of office with CIA support. Joe Biden said sorry for that, so that's not a conspiracy theory. They took over the Supreme Court to do it. What happened is the people just never stopped fighting because it's never over. And you can do it optimistically, or you can do what I do, which is dark optimism. It's never too late because it can always get worse. And so you better keep fighting. And that's what the people did. And they got rid of the corrupt justice system that put Bolsonaro in place. They rejected Bolsonaro. He tried to roll tanks as well. He worked under the last dictator in Brazil. It's not like dictatorship is, that's in decades ago. During my lifetime, they were under a dictator, but the people said no. And then the military was like, look, we're the people too. We're not going to be able to, if everyone is saying no, it's not going to happen. And it didn't happen. And now Bolsonaro is in prison for 27 years because he then tried to have an insurrection. And remember, Steve Bannon would go down to Brazil. This is all Googleable as well. Like Steve Bannon told Bolsonaro in some way, it's pretty clear as day, to run that insurrection in Brasilia the same way that Donald Trump tried in D.C. But instead of not doing anything, which is what our justice system did, they put Bolsonaro in prison for 27 years. So we know that it's possible. I can keep going. There's current ones. There's ones in history because this is always the fight. The billionaire class, who we know a substantial amount of them are actually billionaire pedophiles. That's what they do with their money. The billionaire class will never stop, and their goal is to control everything. And they leave nothing for the people. The people can't just do nothing and maintain, because the billionaires will just take it all away. They take away our health care. They take away our retirement. They take away our education. They'll take away our dignity, our lives, and everything that we have and hold deeply. They'll steal it from us because that's who they are. It's only by fighting back that we can build something and hold the billionaire class, in check. And it is the periods where, in history, they're like, oh, the golden era. And that you're like, that's after the Great Depression.
Right.
When the billionaires crashed the world economy, we created Social Security.
That's right.
We created the minimum wage. We created the laws to allow workers to collectively bargain and form a union. Giving working people power led to the greatest economic growth and stability, union density across the board. When a working person and a working family could work jobs that supported a family being and to flourish in this country. That's what our ideas lead to. Flourishing families around the country. Their ideas lead to a literal island of child rape populated by billionaires and blackmail. So I think the American people are beginning to break through some of that propaganda. And let's be clear, it's incredibly powerful propaganda. The billionaires have bought up systematically almost all of the organs of media and press.
Yes, they
Jeff
have.
Bezos just lit the Washington Post on fire, right? Like this is what they're doing.
I know.
But even through that, we're watching the scales fall from people's eyes right now. And it is a hopeful moment for me, because what I'm seeing is an American public that is either already so angry or just waking up to how angry they should have been for a while. And when we can unite all of these folks, that's when the billionaires better really start being afraid.
Right. And it's getting there. Alex Lawson is with us. But see, this is why I love talking to you, because even I know you're pissed but now, you're saying the things that we need to hear. The thing is, so it's so, again, it goes back to my opposite world theory. The reason there are now cracks on the crazy side of the aisle is because, before this, they were believing, the QAnon people and the maggots, before I guess they were called maggots, knew that, they were told that, there's this big pedophilia ring among the Democrats. The Democrats are doing this. They raided the pizza parlor in D.C., all the nonsense. Hillary Clinton is running a pedophile ring out of the basement of whatever the pizza place name was. And they believed it. Well, now, thanks to the Epstein files, they wanted them out because Trump said, I'll release them. I don't know what he was thinking then, because the truth came out. And now a lot of them are going, wait a minute, they lied to us about this? We still believe, the pedophiles have to be prosecuted. They need to be uncovered, which we've been saying all along. I don't care who's in it. Bill Clinton? Yeah, and even the Clintons are saying, we'll testify. How about them? So that, I think, started the fissure, the cracks in the surface, and now they're starting to question a lot of things. I'm in Arizona now. There is a bill, the legislature is in session now. There's a bill that a state senator introduced that, they lied to the people who showed up last night to the session, because they were told at first that they were going to hear this, or they were going to debate this bill that would make it a crime punishable by jail time for anybody to alert anybody else if there's an ICE operation in the neighborhood, if there are ICE masked thugs spotted in the neighborhood. This includes talking face to face to your neighbor, posting something online, by telephone, by text, by any means possible. If you tell anybody else, even by blowing a whistle, if you do any of these things to alert others to ICE activity in your area, you can be arrested and convicted, charged with a crime with the penalty of doing jail time. That's unconstitutional. So what they did last night at the hearing, they said, we're gonna put this off until tomorrow. And then they didn't. So people left and they brought it up for a vote. I still can't find anything in the press out here. I believe it passed the Senate. This is, no. And, even people who are Republicans who were believing Donald Trump have to know that talking to your neighbor, whispering something to your spouse, can land you in jail. This is how far they're taking it.
And at the same time, people should remember that DOJ has, not DOJ, ICE has put more children in camps and deported them, including a two-month-old baby who we don't even know if that child is still alive.
No, we don't.
That child was so ill when they deported him
to Mexico. A 2-month-old child. Yes.
And ICE has put more children in camps than DOJ has put child rapists before the court. Child rapists who they know their names. They know their names so well that they ink them out in all. They go Control F, and then they type in a name of a child rapist that they know, and they're like, well, we can't let people find out about that guy's name. That's the DOJ. That's the perverted justice system that bill in Arizona is sort of saying, okay, well, I'm going to align with that, because they think that the future is this dark fascist America where you don't have the right to be an individual who can say what they want, believe what they want, that has individual rights that are protected. These legislators who are trying to push this garbage, they believe that the people are going to lose. They believe the people are going to lose. What I know is the people are going to win. But there is a liminal space between those two when the dog is backed into the corner, when they are most dangerous. And the billionaires, they got money.
Yeah.
And so I don't understate the danger that exists right now. We've seen it. We've seen masked agents of state power murder U.S. citizens in cold blood, and then the government protect those murderers instead of prosecuting them. We know the danger is real, but we also are looking around and seeing incredible bravery by rejecting that future.
That's right.
And saying, I'm going to show up even though I know that my life and well-being and everything is at risk. And, you know, it's why we should honor the everyday bravery of people who are standing up and raising their voices. Not everyone can.
Right.
And so if you can't, and remember, it's not a marathon. I'm sorry, it's not a sprint.
Right. It is
not even a marathon.
Well, yeah.
It's a relay race.
Ah.
You do your part. You take the
Relay race.
baton when you can, and you pass it when you have to. But it's the people who, again, that law is terrifying, but that is its design.
Right.
To terrorize, right? And so if we don't let it scare us, because we know it is blatantly unconstitutional, blatantly un-American, and that, you know, we're governed with our consent alone. That's one of our founding principles, and it's to the people saying, I reject that. You're never going to put me in jail for talking to my neighbor. You're never going to put me in jail for making a phone call to my neighbor about what I perceive as further injustices.
Right.
But the danger is real. They can actually put you in jail for all sorts of things, right? So we have to both recognize the real risks and dangers, and also be unafraid to face those as we can, and to offer our support for our community, for our neighbors, whoever can do their part. And we all have different parts to play. But remember that the bully loses all of their power when no one is afraid of them anymore. So if you're in a position to not be afraid, now's the time.
Very true. And I know we all must step up when we can, however we can. You know, I have a microphone. I reach some people out there. My friend Erica is out at every protest, and she was there when they raided a group of sports bars in Phoenix and pulled people out. Some of them citizens, and detained them. The ICE tactics are horrific, but you know, going up further up the food chain, you've got a guy sitting in the Oval Office who lies with every breath he takes. So his new thing is to go around and say this.
I have nothing to hide. I've been exonerated. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. They went in hoping that they'd find it and found just the opposite. I've been totally exonerated. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein was fighting that I don't get elected.
It's such bullshit. He's lying through his teeth. Now, he did that on Air Force One, and there were reporters all around him. Why did one of them say, you are exonerated? By whom? Who exonerated you? Because, no, all I know is in the files that were released, your name is in there 38,000 times. And in the redacted files, which Jamie Raskin did a search on, your name showed up over 1 million times. So who exonerated you? But nobody asks him. Nobody's challenging him on this shit.
Yes, and I think that we must demand more from the press, but also remember, I mean, a lot of the press is seeing they're gone. The ones who are left are the ones who, I guess, passed the Barry Weiss test.
That's right.
Are you willing to lie for power instead of speak truth to it? And that's always, but, there are still immense amounts of bravery shown by the press in the right moments. And then once it starts going, that's when the feeding frenzy can really start, and everyone's trying to guess. But I will say, you saw what Ted Lieu said yesterday. Ted Lieu, right?
Congressman from Southern California, yeah.
Who's quite, I bet you he wears patent leather shoes. Like this is a lawyer's lawyer,
Yes,
right? Like this is a guy who, when he says something, he knows that he has to have some things to back that up. And he said that the Epstein files contain information of Trump raping children.
Yep.
Yesterday. So, yes, of course, Donald Trump's going to lie.
Right.
Donald Trump will go to war to keep the truth from coming out. And yet we're seeing, because, again, of the bill that Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie got passed through this incredibly arcane. That story is an amazing one. But because of that, even though DOJ is trying to redact them and redactions on redactions, there's still enough coming out because the members of Congress are they're hungry for this story and to expose the truth of what's going on. And you got to see the Republicans, their job is sort of to stand up and take the rhetorical bullet for, the Trump administration and be like, yeah, I don't see what a big deal it is, right? We've seen senators be like, yeah, I said that, but now I see it is a big deal.
Right.
Because
that's right.
They're understanding that if they're going to hitch their wagon to, I'm trying to figure out how to put billionaire pedophiles back in it, but that they're gonna go down with the billionaire pedophiles because it's not just America. Donald Trump can control his little pet AG, but he doesn't control the British justice, German justice, the French justice, international justice. And so, I am seeing a vibe shift here. And that's why it's important. We don't need to listen to the man's lies anymore. We know what's going on. We just have to tell people what's going on. So we're asking for the Democrats to boycott the State of the Union and join our People's State of the Union instead on the Mall with their guests. These are generally across the board people who've been harmed by Trump's policy.
Right.
They're the story. And we want people to turn the dial. Don't watch Trump. We don't need to know. He's just going to lie.
Of course.
Not a single thing out of his mouth is true. We just have to tell the truth.
Right.
So we want to promote the truth,
so
not respond to his lies.
Okay, so where this is happening on the Mall, tell us what's going on. So it's February 24th. It's coming up just in a few days.
Tuesday.
Tuesday of next week.
And it's sponsored by Move On. Social Security Works and ACT TV are partners on it.
Cool.
And we've got, I think, 22 members. It's an enormous number of members. It's so long. It's so many that we can't have more come in because the program will be so long then. But it is, and it's historic. It's the largest boycott in history, and it's going to be huge. The People's State of the Union. You can just sort of Google it, find it. You can go to moveon.org. You can go to socialsecurityworks.org, go to our social media. And Nicole, I'll get you some stuff that you can put out.
Oh, terrific. Please do.
Or I can get you a feed or coverage or whatever.
That would be awesome.
Right?
I can send it out if I can get a feed. Absolutely. I would do that.
Yes. So ACT TV is producing that. So that's me, and we can do that. So these are just sort of the ideas that I think we need to be getting to and just keep demonstrating what it is that we have to do. One of them is we don't listen to this man's lies.
Right.
And, like, oh, well, we got to wait to see. No, don't wait to see. We know what is happening. It's clear as day. This is the man went with his bro, J.D. Vance, pulled all of the top brass of the military into a room and told them to get ready to wage war on American citizens. That is a coup on television, right? It was met with stony silence, but like that, he said, I want you to use American cities as testing grounds, right?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? We have to wait and see what he wants. No, man, we're in the thick of it. We know what's happening. We need to only do one thing: fight back, oppose this authoritarian takeover. And when we do it all together, we'll win every time.
Yes. See, this is the kind of thing we need. That's awesome. Great. You'll get me all the details, and I will make sure the listeners all know about it. I'll put it on my Substack and website and all that stuff and get the word out there. Because you're right. He lies every time he speaks, and we've all heard what he's going to say anyway, because he can't stop using his untruth social to tell us, he'll tweet on there, 50 times in the course of an hour between 2 and 3 a.m. because, he's a madman. Right. The latest thing, I don't know if you heard this, is that he said, let me just play it so you can hear. Sorry, it's less than 30 seconds. Here we go.
I want to let you know that the United States is going to make a contribution of $10 billion to the Board of Peace.
What?
Thank you.
Yeah. $10 billion he's just going to transfer. Last time I looked, Congress had to authorize expenditures like that. In addition to that, he's suing the government for $10 billion because somebody leaked 1 year of his tax returns. So, and he gets to, call the shots. Well, yes, I run the government. I will settle with myself. He is taking our money and doing what? Board of Peace? Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, it's, I think, something that I've said for a long time that people didn't want to listen to. But again, I welcome with grace. The implied powers of the presidency are unlimited. They are unlimited. The checks and balances only work if the checks and balances want to be a check and balance on the president. Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus. That's illegal.
Yeah.
But he did it.
Yeah,
Why? Because the implied powers of the presidency are unlimited, much to our chagrin. But, a sort of old neoliberal world order was like, yeah, but norms and rules are going to keep it in check, and don't worry. We're going to always maintain. And you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah, there's a scientific term for that.
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. They're so certain that we're special. That can't happen here. Of course it can happen here. We're as human as every other human. So what we're looking at is also not just Donald Trump, though. Right. And it's important because we've been doing this for a long time. Yeah. There's an ecosystem. It's not like, we had to sit there while they confirmed Supreme Court justices who were like, I'm definitely not going to overturn R. V. Wade. And we're like, are you fucking kidding me? Of course, it's their whole thing. And then they overturn it. And then the same, actually people turn into pearl clutchers and are like, oh, who could have foreseen? And you're like, literally everyone.
Right. The line was, oh, that's their money-raising issue. It's just a straw man. They're not really going to do it. They like having the issue to raise money off of. Again.
Bullshit.
No, they did it.
Yes,
Believe
they did
them
it.
When they tell you who they are.
Exactly. Or, they'll never cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid. That'll collapse the health system. And I heard that from the lobbyists of the health system up until it was the finish line. And then they were calling and being like, hey, is there anything we can do? And I'm like, yes, it's never too late because it can always get worse, but you probably should have called your bros back when we were telling you they were definitely going to cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid so that they could give $4 trillion in tax handouts to a bunch of billionaire pedophiles. But now I do think I don't hear from the well-actuallys as much. And when I do, I ignore them even more fully now. And more people are joining me and being like, you know, the ones who are saying that it's an overreaction are way wronger than the ones who are saying we have to always be on guard against powerful moneyed interests subverting democracy and turning our state against the people to benefit the wealthy few. And that's where we are. More people are like, actually, that makes more sense. Yeah. Unlimited campaign contributions, and then all of a sudden my life gets worse, and these billionaires get richer and richer and richer, and now it's pretty clear. You can fool some people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time. I don't know where we are. We're edging towards, we're quite close to all of the people all of the time not being fooled.
Right. Absolutely. So we need to keep speaking out. You need to talk to your neighbors if they'll listen. If they won't, bombard them with facts, I guess. You know, keep speaking truth to power. That's been the right way to go about things forever. So we need to keep doing it. We just need to be a little louder and try to bring in as many people as we can. You're right. Look, I will forever be pissed at anybody who voted for that asshole. But if they're willing to say, you know what, you were right, he's dangerous, what they're doing is unconstitutional and it's hurting us, okay, you got it. You know, but it's weird. It's easier said than done because you look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, she's saying the right things. I still don't trust her. I mean, she did say she got up on the steps of the Capitol with all those Epstein survivors and said, I can read the names of the men who are in these files on the House floor. Because I'm a member of Congress, I can do that. Well, she left and she never did it. So, you know, when they do say something like that, we need to get them to actually do it.
I agree completely. I mean, welcoming with grace doesn't mean that you have to be a, naive, unstrategic person. Welcoming with grace is also, it is work. And it's hard, and it doesn't mean that you have to then be bros and friends. It just means that we need to create a space that allows people who want to fight against the evil that they're seeing to do so. They'll be on our island with us, but we don't have to like them, and we have to hold them accountable. And so, yes, somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has done tremendous harm personally, personally with her own personal political power, owes. It's a debt. Right. It's a debt that they have to pay. The grace is only offered as this debt is paid. And so that concept, I think people get it. And so, like, you know, I always say doing good feels good. That should be a hint at some deeper truths. But when you help people, it feels good. You feel good about it. When you hurt people, it racks with guilt. It comes up as bad memories. And all of that are little indications of, I don't know, we can have a philosophy talk sometime. But one of those is also, when somebody has harmed you, offering that grace is made much easier when there is an effort to make amends.
Exactly.
And so That's what we're talking about here. It's not an easy process, and it shouldn't be easy on either side. It has to be fair. But these are principles that can forge incredibly powerful unions of solidarity amongst people who you would otherwise never see work together. And that is when the billionaires start shaking in their boots, right? The oldest trick of the tyrants is to point us at each other, right? It's not the billionaires taking all the money that's making your life not live up to what you want it to be. It's this person who's poorer than you having food on their table, so let's take that food away. That's such a ridiculous notion. It's so obviously wrong, but in the sham reality, they believe it. But once those cracks start, and I think the Epstein files were some sort of bolt into that shell of lies, and we're starting to see more and more people be like, wait, if they lied about the billionaire pedophile thing, what else have they been lying about? And you're like, man, do I got a thing to tell you? It's everything. It's literally everything.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. Go figure. Alex Lawson, you're the best. I don't know how much time you have. If I know you're very busy, and obviously you got stuff going on. The People's State of the Union is Tuesday night, and Social Security Works has never let up fighting for not only Social Security but protecting and expanding Medicare and Medicaid, which they've cut $1 trillion out of. So, that's your day job. And any news on that front? I know, this term of hell got started by, letting Doge at all of our Social Security data. So all our protected information is no longer protected. That's still just out there for anybody who can get into where the unsecure servers where they put our private information.
Yeah, I mean, it's worse than that, Nicole. And so it's sort of the situation. And you're right that this is all my day job because it's all one thing. The reason we boycott the State of the Union, you remember last State of the Union, the dude just lied. 10 minutes, just lies, right? And so we're like, you don't need to listen to those lies and then respond. You can just tell the truth about what's happened. The largest data theft in the history of the world. That's what happened. These Doge goons, it's Elon Musk. His lieutenant is a guy named Antonio Gracias. Antonio Gracias and Elon Musk go to the commissioner and they say, we need all of the people's data. And the commissioner said no. So they fired the commissioner and they put this patsy in her place, the first person they found on the hierarchy who said yes. And they made that guy commissioner. Then they plugged their server they plugged their computer into the server and they stole all of America's data. And however much you kind of think you might know what that means, it's worse. It's not just your name and your social security number and your birthday and your address and your phone numbers and all your previous addresses. It's definitely those, but it's also all of your employment history, everywhere you've worked, how much money you've made. It's definitely that too, but also your entire medical record, or not entire medical record for everyone, but because we're also talking about Medicare often in relationship to Social Security, an enormous amount of medical data, mental health issues because of Social Security disability. You have enormous health, mental health, divorce, child care, all of this data on everybody, right? You get a Social Security number when you're born. So what happened is the largest data theft in the history of the world by a man who did not get rich building cars. Elon Musk is not the richest man in the world because he builds cars. It's because he deals data. That's the whole thing. Tesla's not a car company, it's a tech company. What that means is he's gathering data, bought Twitter to get Donald Trump elected and to gather the data. That is who stole it. Antonio Gracias, his lieutenant, by the way, is on the board of Tesla. So these aren't like, this is connected. You have Palantir, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. This is the dark trinity of tech evil, and they steal all the data. And the Department of Justice, think about how bad the crime had to be for Trump's own Department of Justice to say, a little crime happened. Because that's what happened, Nicole. The documents you're referring to, which only came out because of a lawsuit and only cover the period until the Supreme Court allowed an injunction,
right.
And then we don't know anything after that. So we don't know what happened to our data. They also, as they are wont to do under this DOJ, they redacted the names of the perpetrators. And so it's like blank, somebody did a little crime. Somebody, don't worry, trust us, we're dealing with it.
Sure.
But we know through the conversations, it's not, they were tweeting about it. It's Antonio Gracias almost certainly gave the data to True the Vote, almost certainly, which is an organization set up to commit voter fraud, right? Like they set up and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to root out voter fraud. That's not what they're doing.
No.
They're trying to rig the vote. That's what they're trying to do. And they're trying to make sure that the Republicans win in the midterms and that Donald Trump is never, and the billionaire pedophiles are never held to account. That is acknowledged in the documents that only came to light because of lawsuit by the Alliance for Retired Americans and the American Federation of Teachers and the Municipal and State Workers Union. So working people saying, you can't steal our data.
Right.
And so we know. And it's so bad, DOJ's like, don't worry about it. It's basically an ethics violation. But think about how large the crime has to be for Donald Trump's own DOJ to admit that a crime had occurred at all. They're like, yeah, it's a little crime.
Yeah.
It's the same, it's strategic transparency, right? It's which is the exact opposite of transparency. They're just saying they know there's something big, and they say, okay, well, just show them a little bit and convince them that that's all there is. So this story is so much bigger than people understand because our data was put onto look at their website. Like this is not a national security institution. It's just like they put it up on like Amazon Cloud or something like that, like that you can do. Guess what? Do you know who wants that data? Literally every bad guy you can imagine. Just a teeny portion of it, and it's identity theft gold, right? Just a teeny portion could ruin a person's life, turn it upside down. And then you bring in nation states who want that data for all sorts of purposes. We need to know who got our data, who gave it to them, what did they do with our data after they had it? Who did they give it to? And then every single person involved in that massive theft of American data needs to be prosecuted and held to account for the crimes that they committed. That's just the world as we want it to be. We have to build back to where that's what will happen when a government, an agent of the state is actually, perpetrating violence of some form against the people, that they are punished and not rewarded. And so that's how you flip the world back. But the fight on Social Security is also based on they lie.
Yes,
Similar themes. Remember, Antonio Gracias got on stage with Elon Musk in Wisconsin right before the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Remember, and they had that big chart behind them, and they lied. They were like, the Democrats gave 20 million illegal immigrants Social Security so that they would vote for the Democrats. Like, not a single word in that whole thing is true, right? And they put all these charts up and they went on Fox News and they said all this. And the whole point was, first of all, every accusation of theirs is an admission. You're like, you guys want to commit fraud. You're not looking to root out anything. You want to commit it. That's why you fired all the inspector generals on day one. If you're interested in rooting out fraud, you'd probably keep the fraud rooter outers in place.
Exactly.
But importantly, what did the people of Wisconsin do? They were like, no, I'm not going to be told what to do by Elon Musk. This schmuck is a schmuck. I am not going to be told what to do by him. And so, again, the theme is when the people come together, we win. And also, we know he's going to lie again today. Not today, this year in the State of the Union on Tuesday. We don't have to reply to his lies. We don't have to wait and listen because we know what he's doing to Social Security. They've fired 10,000 workers or pushed out 10,000 workers, probably more. And they didn't do it with like calculations where they thought it through. They just did it. And so you have ghost offices across this country. Used to have 15 workers, now have one. Right. They destroyed the 1-800 number. So you try to get information, and they're like, don't worry, AI will take care of it. AI will not take care of it.
And if it does, it'll get it wrong. So, yeah.
It just, these are also life-changing decision points. These are oftentimes some of the darkest moments in people's lives around disability or loss of a spouse, or all of these situations. And then just, when do I take my benefits to retire? And that's a lifelong decision. You get to make it once. And there is a right answer. And workers, AFGE Council 220, frontline workers were the people who would sit down with you, go over your numbers, and determine what's best for you. That's what the billionaires don't want to have happen. So they push them all out. We're seeing this destruction and disruption of Social Security that's never occurred in its 90-year history. So we know what Donald Trump's plan is for Social Security, to destroy it. We don't need to wait and listen to his lies, because he's just going to be like, I'm doing great. That is the lie that they're telling. What we need to tell is the truth of what they're actually doing, which is destroying Social Security.
And to make matters worse, they got all this data, what they're doing with it. You just spelled out for us. Exactly. Well, now you have the, quote, Attorney General, who's his personal lawyer, which is what he said he wanted all along, threatening, blackmailing, basically, like Minneapolis. You want ICE out of Minneapolis? Oh, we'll do that. You just have to turn over your voter rolls. And they're doing this in every state. She is using coercion, using blackmail, doing whatever she needs to do. And you don't want that anymore? Turn over your voter rolls. One thing has nothing to do with the other except to perpetuate their crime against our country.
Exactly. It nothing has anything to do, they don't have anything to do with each other, except that if you just step back and acknowledge the obvious, that we're in the middle of an attempted destruction of the United States of America's democracy, so that a dude who dances to the billionaire pedophile's tune can stay in office with no repercussions forever. But I always will keep returning to, just like I think neoliberal order was like, norms are going to save us. The perpetrators of active violence on the American people, up to and including cold-blooded murder, they're like, I'm pretty sure I'll be fine because my guys are going to win. Your guys are going to lose, and then we're never going to stop. It'll be our mission forever to search down every single perpetrator of these crimes and to hold them to account. And if something we can't do, I think we get the ICC. I think it should be one of the first things that we do is sign up and a full participation in the ICC. And they're like, that might endanger the neoliberal order?
Right.
Fine.
Yeah,
fine.
Exactly.
But you know what? We should be part of a global world of law-based, justice-focused order. That's where we should be. We should recognize our European allies. Maybe we just make the map based on did you prosecute the billionaire pedophiles? Then that's the ones we want to be associated with, right? We need to remember who we are and change the nation to reflect that. And, you know, it will take effort. And I think the sleepwalking that has maybe been center stage for a few decades of like, I don't think it's going to be that bad. It is that bad. That's what they're doing. They're trying to steal the election because they know that if they have an election, a fair election, they're going to lose so bad that everybody else is going to flee them because their power will be so obviously fake. But I also know they're going to cheat as hard as they can, but you can't be like, oh, just give up because they've already got it. No,
you're right. No, that should make you want to fight harder.
More.
Right. To stop them from doing it. After the fact doesn't really help us. We need to head them off at the pass, as they say. We need to stop them from doing this. And remember, you said it, every accusation is a confession. When they accuse the Democrats of doing all this shit, just know they're telling you that's what they do. That's what they're doing. They only say it because they do it. It's what they came up with it because they're already doing it. And it's easier to accuse the other side of doing it because that's what they're trying to do. It's that simple. It is opposite world. We need to flip it back to, reality, right? So, all these things. I did read one thing yesterday, and I was trying to find where I found it. And I don't know what group it was, but you mentioned earlier all of these countries. You know, England, they locked up the brother formerly known as Prince, Charles.
I hate associating "Never Was a Prince" Andrew with the musical
genius. I gotcha.
Right, as Prince. But yes, never was a prince. The brother of the king.
Yes, the brother of the king. They're doing no kings better than we are. And they have a king.
Is doing no king better than we are. It's an embarrassment. If the Windsors are ever doing anything better than you should feel very ashamed of yourself. But as a nation, it's not ashamed that I think we should feel. It's just fury. Yeah. It's just anger that these despicable goons have taken us so fast, so far in a direction of evil and terrible. But the people are fighting back.
Yes.
We've got the boycott, the People's State of the Union calling for the boycott. It was difficult to get as much interest as, to have enough space on stage for everyone who wanted to come. March 28th, we have No Kings 3 across the country. It's going to be the biggest single-day protest in the history of this country. Social Security works. We're going to be doing a series of protests in targeted districts. These are Republicans who won oftentimes by less votes than people they're going to take health care away from, right? Like Miller Meeks in Iowa, she won by something like 800 votes, and 67,000 people in her district lose health care because of her cowardly vote.
Exactly.
We're going to be in these districts. Awesome. We're going to be in these districts fighting back every day, every week. Do what you can. It's a relay race, but the key is to get organized. You go to moveon.org, find out about the People's State of the Union, go to socialsecurityworks.org, find out about protests outside of Social Security offices against the destruction of Social Security, hospitals and nursing homes against the destruction of our health care. Do what you can, but do it together with your neighbors, because it's just true to people who've never protested before. You feel the power when you stand together shoulder to shoulder. You understand some of our chants, like when we fight, we win.
Right.
You understand what that feeling is, and it's solidarity.
Most definitely. Alex Lawson, the one thing I was going to say is one of these entities in another country said what we're reading in these Epstein files, these are crimes against humanity. And it should be looked at on that scale, because what they're doing is that. So let's take them on. You've laid out a bunch of ways we can. We'll follow through on it. Send me the information too, and I'll get it out there as well. Alex Lawson, you are the best.
You are the best,
no,
Nicole
you
Sandler.
are.
You really are, though.
Well, you are too. Okay, we'll talk off the air, and I'll win that fight. But you are Alex Lawson. Find him ALaw202 on social media, and all the contact information there is on the Chiron. Thank you so much. You're the best. I'll talk to you
Thanks,
soon.
Nicole.
Thank you, and we will talk again soon, I hope. Until tomorrow, I've got Marcy Wheeler tomorrow, as we do every Friday. So I'll get all worked up again. Thanks, Alex. Alex, you guys have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow, and we're done.
I hate it to end this way. Oh, my God, I hate it. Enough's enough. We got to end it. Count me out. Enough is enough. When it's over, it is over. It is over.
And peace out.